reusable cups for coffee and drinks, cutlery, plates, bowls, especially if you're going out for a picnic or something to eat. And if you need to wash up at the end of it, bring along, a tub, wash up your cutlery and crockery and take it home with you rather than sort of getting the disposable stuff and just throwing it away.
G'day mate, and welcome to the Sustainaroo Travels Podcast, where we showcase the ways real people are making real world changes to live, work and travel sustainably.
So I'm Maddie and this is my partner Andreas, and we're the proud owners of Providence Food, bulk food store in Frenchy Gully. I think in terms of swaps, probably, your Instagrammers and your Pinterest stars are probably a great place to look at researching, because I think a lot of people out there have some really, really amazing swaps. The most basic ones that I can think of are, do I need this harsh cleaner that's then going to end up in our waterways? Can I just use things like vinegar, like bicarb soda, like citric acid? What about cleaning your teeth with coconut oil and activated charcoal instead of toothpaste? Do you need all that toothpaste? I think in terms of swapping, just think about simplifying the process rather than looking at all these products, these ready-made products, and going, this is suitable, that's suitable, this is marketed to us for us to buy it, but think about what's in it. What's the active ingredient? Look at psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is the basis of Metamucil, but everyone turns to Metamucil because they want flavour. Well, put some orange juice in it or put some cordial in it. It's not a difficult swap. Did you want to have a go at some of those?
Cleaning products, easy one would be going from a cream cleaner to just some soapy water and bicarb soda.
Yeah.
Maddie showed me bicarb soda a few years ago, and it's been the
most easiest ingredient in the entire world.
It's fantastic. You just throw it on a bit of everything, and it's a really good sort of scrubber. It's less of a swap and more of a conscious change, or going over to some other product, but recyclable toothbrushes. There's a lot of plastic that goes into toothbrushes, so we've got some toothbrushes that are a little more
the wheat straw ones.
They're a lot more environmentally friendly. So there's that. You still get to have clean teeth. At the end of the day, that's pretty important, but you're having less of an environmental impact. And again, coconut oil, bicarb soda, those sort of bits and pieces, activated charcoal, they all make for good replacements for toothpaste. And if you want the minty fresh, just grab some mint flavouring or something along those lines, or something that will freshen up your breath.
Yeah, like a bit of essential oil.
Yeah, some
essential oils go such a long way.
The consumable ones.
For sure.
Yeah, a few bits and pieces like that. Washing with salts and what was it? The like rice and bits and pieces like that. You can just turf it in the green waste once you're done with it, if you don't use a bunch of harsh chemicals, of course. And bits and pieces like that. I guess it's sort of, for me, it's less of I don't like to make things too much of a chore. I like to make them what can I replace with it that just fits in with my lifestyle? Because if you make things a chore or force things, it very much becomes like a chore, and you're more likely to revert back. Yeah, and you're more likely to revert back to just the stuff that that's easy, that's probably not great for the environment and not quite so sustainable.
I think on that note, I think sometimes with trying to aim for an environmentally conscious lifestyle, we sometimes make it hard work. We sometimes make it too difficult. We go too far in the extreme. We go down these rabbit holes and we research something until the point where we go, well, I don't want to use that product anymore because I now know how it's mined, where it came from, how it got to me. And there's always going to be an environmental impact to everything that we purchase. We didn't grow, a toothbrush from the ground. So it came from somewhere. It still had an environmental impact, but it's about reducing your environmental impact, not just necessarily about stopping all Western life completely. And looking what other countries do. How do they swap things? We sometimes live in this really Western-centric kind of world where we think, this product is available to me, it's the only product available, or it's the best, or it's the newest, but we don't stop to think, well, hang on, how can I actually simplify this? What is actually going on here? What do I need it for? What can I use that's more natural rather than this harsh or this strong impact item? Yeah, I think there's merit to not being a perfectionist. I think we place a lot of pressure on ourselves in everyday life, not just in sustainability, but in parenting, in work life, in, home life. We create this illusion of perfectionism, which isn't always or is rarely attainable. But we guilt ourselves when we don't get it right, which can really cause us to stop in our tracks and give up altogether. Mechanic, step in.
Look, travel's a tough one. Obviously, communal travel reduces a lot of the footprint that you're dealing with on an individual level. Once you sort of spread it out, it becomes a lot less impactful per capita. Our industry's not, the automotive industry is not overly environmentally conscious even now. They like to say they are, to try and hit certain sort of
marketing targets.
Yeah, marketing targets, government targets, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But, look, really it comes down to, communal travel, if you can. Diesel, I don't think is that bad compared to other fuels. It can be bad in certain circumstances, but it does use less fuel, so there's an argument there, but you're getting into some murky waters. Biodiesel's great, but we don't have any infrastructure or industry based around biodiesel, so it's a tough one to try and go anywhere near. We're still sort of learning and playing around with electric and what it means for sustainable travel. Hopefully it will go somewhere. Hopefully we'll see hydrogen and stuff like that come into play. But, if you can, the more the merrier. If it's going to be a large vehicle, diesel's always your best bet. Petrol's going to consume a lot more in terms of, if you're moving large quantities of people around. And, well, at the end of the day, if they're willing to jump on a treadly or, a little bicycle or something along those lines, obviously in your circumstance, that's probably not feasible, because asking 20 people to jump on a bike and ride halfway across Melbourne ain't going to work. But yeah, it sort of really depends. And like I say, the biggest one for per capita reducing emissions is public transport. That's why it's a bit of a bugbear for me. I won't go into it, but I don't like the public transport system. It's not as reliable as it should be, especially compared to elsewhere in the world. So,
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think it depends where you live. I think that's the key there, that where you live, is defined by your government. and your local government and what rules and regulations they want to put in place, what they want to tackle and what they don't. And some, areas, regions put in a lot of energy and time into making their travel sustainable. They invest much more in public transport, in, marketing smaller cars. I think it depends on where you live. I think in terms of sustainable travel, I have a friend who doesn't catch a plane because, one plane ride is equivalent to 1 year's worth of travelling in a car. So he won't catch planes. I have... What else do I think of? I think, the larger cars are probably, if you can fit the more people you fit in, the better.
Look, if you're travelling around the place, it definitely helps to have reusable cutlery, reusable, plates, bowls. You can get little bits and pieces from camping stores and stuff like that. And, any of your local bulk food stores, we have some of a range of sort of travel bits and pieces.
Or at least refillable items.
Yeah, we've got your refillable items. We have soaps, which help a lot with sort of cutting down on that plastic waste and that sort of stuff. And then on top of that, just making sure you take it home with you, wash it up rather than finding something that's there, easy to use, disposable coffee cup. You drink your coffee, throw it in the bin. There you go. There's a bit more waste that's contributed. We do have reusable cups and bits and pieces like that. Reusable cups for coffee and drinks, cutlery, plates, bowls, especially if you're going out for a picnic or something to eat. And if you need to wash up at the end of it, bring along, a tub, wash up your cutlery and crockery and take it home with you rather than sort of getting the disposable stuff and just throwing it away.
Yeah. Reusable coffee cups are a massive one. We try to get our cups everywhere. Sometimes they're not convenient, but, what price are you paying? Like, are you paying for convenience or are you paying for, are you being a bit more mindful and choosing to use something that's more renewable or reusable?
If we don't have them with us or clean, we might sit down and have a cup of coffee. It's nice to sit in your local, wherever you are, the community, and just sit down, see who's going past. It's fun to watch the people around you go by and do their thing while you're sort of sitting somewhere and enjoying, coffee or whatever else. So
I think there's a real there's a relationship between travel and slowing down, being mindful, and getting to know your community. And I think those things can really work in harmony. I think if you, mindfulness is something that we rush. We don't think about what we're doing a lot of the time. We're just on autopilot all the time. We've got to get from place A to place B as quickly as we can. We don't stop to think, well, why do I need to rush so much? How can I introduce more mindfulness into my everyday life? Is it about going to a cafe and sitting down, not getting a takeaway, cup that is disposable? Can I actually take 5 minutes of my time today, sit down at a cafe, get to know the local area, and enjoy a good cup of coffee or tea or whatever it might be, rather than just rushing through? And often what happens when we rush is that we're then choosing that convenience, and that's when that environmental impact also comes into things.
And if we are in a rush, just make sure you rush out the door with your keep cup.
Absolutely.
Thanks for tuning in. You can follow us on social media at Sustainaroo Travels and check out the resources on our website, sustainarootravels.com.au. If you like today's guest speaker, please check them out via the link in our show notes. If you haven't already, check out part 1, where today's guests share their sustainability journey and everything they do. Thanks, mate.